My answer to question one, I have not been involved in any projects in the USA recently, especially in film. I know the last thing I did in the US was for the OWN network. That's Greenleaf, where I was in season 3, episode 10 and 11. And beyond that, of course, I was in Atlanta, which was Atlanta is on Fox. And those are the ones I can remember. And Claws, and of course, what's the other one again? I've forgotten that fourth one. Yeah, so those are the most recent things I've done here in the US. But of course, I have done quite a few projects in Nigeria recently. One of them is on Netflix and the other one is on Amazon Prime. The one on Netflix is Baby Farm, and the one on Amazon Prime Video is Finding Me. So those are the latest projects that I have in my belt. And for social media, for people to follow me, my Instagram handle is I am Joseph Benjamin, one word. And on X, which was formerly Twitter, I am J Benjamin. And on Facebook, Joseph Benjamin. I believe I kind of for question 2, I've touched on it a bit. I think my answer to question 1 kind of keys into or ties into question 2 about the projects I've been in, right? And which of them impacted me the most? I would say all of them, because they all speak to a different cause. And for me, that is one of the things that attracts me to a story. I first of all want to be sure that a script has a message to give. What is that thing that it is addressing? Is there a societal issue that it is addressing? Because for me, I believe filmmaking is beyond entertainment. We are pace setters. Storytellers are pace setters, and we inform the people. So I believe that filmmakers should use their films, projects to sensitize the people as well as you entertain them, but also you want to make sure that there's something to take away from that story. When the people watch it, let them not just get entertained, but let it speak to something or let it address something that they can connect with, something that is relatable, something that's somewhat maybe a bit personable in a sense, So those are one of the elements that attract me to a script before I, decide to jump on it. So for me, all of them have really impacted me. To be honest, they've all impacted me, all of the projects I've been in. I hope this answers question 2. Thank you. Also, Mr. and Mrs. was not a series, it was a film that I did. I think we did that film in 2010. Was it 2010 we did Mr. and Mrs. or was it 2010? I'm trying to remember. It's probably 2010 or 2011 we did Mr. and Mrs. or because it definitely wasn't 2009. Probably was 2010. Probably was 2010 or 2008. I can't remember. But it was a film, not a series, Mr. and Mrs. My co-star was in Sept, and that was a very, very beautiful story. Something that also speaks to a prevailing societal issue within families. Yes, thank you. I've always been a proponent for being intentional about the way you look. You don't have to break the bank or go broke to make an impression, no. But be intentional within whatever budget you have. make sure you look presentable enough. Because I always believe this, that people will see you before they hear you. What people see determines how they respond to or how they treat you. I know there's a saying that goes like this: never judge a book by its cover. Yes, absolutely. But most times, the cover determines if you will read the book. How is the cover presented? How attractive is that cover? What does the cover say? Because we're visual human beings. All right, we're very visual. We're visual. We're a visual species. So I'm very big on being intentional about the way you look, because it's the first thing that will create an impression about you. You don't have to, again, emphasis on, you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to go broke. You're not trying to make an impression. You're not trying to, rather, you're not trying to impress anybody, but you are trying to be presentable. That's why I'm very, very intentional about the way I look. It could be simple, but very, very impressive. I have to make sure that I'm presentable. Simple, but presentable. That is my mantra. Regardless of how expensive or how moderate the cost of what you're wearing is, but just be presentable. It is imperative to be presentable. Again, people see you before they hear you. Yeah, I hope this answers question 3. And also to add to it, it's also yes, another question also, what impact has it created? What impact has it made to my career, and what's my vision for it? At least I've shared my vision for it. An impact it has made to my career. I know for one, throughout my career, to a very large extent, people have always associated me with finesse. And, there's always been this saying within the industry that I make suits look good. Well, it's just me. It's just who I am. And I always tell people less is more. The fact that you want to be presentable does not mean that you have to be. You would have to put on a show. No, less is more. Simplicity is the key. But make sure that you're presentable. Yes, thank you. Point of correction, I didn't win the MTN Awards. No, rather I hosted one of the biggest, arguably the biggest music reality show in West Africa called MTN Project Fame West Africa. MTN Project Fame West Africa, where we had contestants from most part of West Africa. We had contestants from, of course, the host country, Nigeria. We had contestants from Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. It's arguably to date one of the biggest music reality shows to have graced our TVs or graced our the entertainment industry. Yes, and I hosted that for about 8 years. Yes, so just wanted to correct that. I didn't win MTN Awards. And then, of course, winning the Best African Actor. That was quite impactful for me, to be honest. I've won, yes, a lot of awards through my career. But awards are not the yardstick for measuring, well, let me use that term, success. Because these things they're not good. They put a lot of pressure on you, and that becomes the benchmark for success. I don't believe that. That is, for me, I just feel like that's the world's measuring system. That's their yardstick. That's the world's standard for success, per se. Yes, and I know for someone who's been in the industry, of course, it's literally the height of it. That's like the big picture. You want to win awards, you want to be recognized for what you do. Yeah, I know that. I'm not against it. But for me, I'm not. I do not pursue awards. Let me use that term. I have nothing against those who push to win them awards and all. I do not. Matter of fact, most so recently, all of the awards I've ever won are all in a box, to be honest, because when you look at those things, they set you up, because you feel like, particularly if you've not won an award in a while, you start feeling like a failure. You start feeling like you're not good enough. You're not recognized, and it sets your heart for disappointments, and you start retrogressing as opposed to progressing in your walk, or in your career, or whatever it is you find yourself doing. So I just feel like these things, they create some sort of competition. It makes you competitive, as opposed to you pursuing growing a career or getting better at what you do. So for me, I honestly, yes, the awards have been great, but I do not pursue them. They're not my focus, as it were. They're not. They're absolutely not. If I get it, fine, but I do not pursue them. That's not the standard for me. That's not the standard for measuring, success, in quotes. Because I know the world's standard of success is not what I see success as. For me, success is the ability to fail constantly without losing enthusiasm. That is what I see success as. A lot of people are afraid of failing. That is where success lies. That's my definition of success. The ability to constantly fail without losing enthusiasm. That is my definition of success. So that's why I don't pursue these awards and stuff. Yeah, I hope this answers question 4. Yes, I do love to lead worship. I'm a worship leader in my local church. And I believe that we're all called into the ministry of worship, let me use that term, although that it's not defined in the Bible as a specific calling. Okay. But I believe that we're all created to worship God. He created us for His pleasure. We're all created to worship God. And yes, some of us are worship leaders, or some of us find ourselves in the music ministry. Some of us are gifted with the ability to sing. And so we're able to offer worship to God through music. Of course, worship through music is not the only form of worship. It's just an expression of worship. Because worship to God is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Worship is how you live for Him. That is worship. That is worship. The Bible, of course, says that Paul says, I beseech you, brethren, by the message of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your most reasonable service or worship. Some translations say your most reasonable worship. So for me, I believe worship is a lifestyle. Yes, music is an expression of worship, but it's not the only form of worship. Speaking to God, exalting Him is worship. The way we live is worship to Him. And that is one of the things that propel me to worship. I believe that we ought to give God worship through our lives. That is what propels me. What defines my path in this thing is to see men be true to Him, not just in our words, but in how we live. And then when we find ourselves in an atmosphere where we offer worship to God through music, a lot of times it is, permit me to say, but a lot of times we're not sincere about it. We're not sincere about it. Because I believe that when you get to that place of total brokenness and sincerity, you're unable to contain yourself. Because these days in the Christian music industry, there's a lot of performance. There's a lot of this need to impress, this need to show. Then at the end of the day, we ask ourselves this question: are we worshiping God, or we are trying to entertain man, or we are trying to impress man? What are we doing? Because if we're worshiping God, then we will not feel the need to be pressured into sounding a certain way or singing certain songs or doing it a certain way. No. So that's why I do not allow myself to the path of trends, as it were. You have to, there's this popular mindset of, you have to release a song every 3 months. You have to, hello, who are you releasing the songs for? Are the songs for men, or they're offerings to God? He has to accept the song first of all. So, because if you're not releasing those songs or producing those songs to give God true and pure and sincere worship through music, then what are you doing? You're just like every regular artist out there, because I don't like to refer to Christian music ministers as artists, but at the end of the day, considering that the music industry is one body, as it were, or it's one community, though we are segmented. There's the contemporary secular artists, and then of course the Christian quote artists. I say for me, what separates us is the secular and contemporary artists. They entertain, we minister. But the problem now is that there's a lot of us that are tilting towards that aisle or that side of the fence where it's all about entertainment and putting up a show. So my desire is that men come to a place of total surrender and brokenness and sincerity to God. That when you do offer worship to God through music, it'll be pure and unrestrained. And of course, I've answered a bit of the question about my singles. I've not released an album yet. I've just released a few singles, and they've blessed the body of Christ, and I am hoping that the Lord accepted it, that acceptable unto Him. This is me being sincere and vulnerable, because at the end of the day, if man accepts your songs and it's all over, what if God has not accepted it? Then all you've just done is entertain the body and not worship the Father. Yeah. And if there are any more songs in the works, yes, there are. But they will come as He gives liberty and grace to bring them forth. All right, I hope that answers question 5. Thank you. For this question, I would want to be remembered as one whose life impacted the world and drew men to the Father. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is what we do for Him. All that matters is how our lives made an impact for the kingdom. Not the awards, not the way we've recognized. There's something I heard not too long ago, and it was CC Winers that said it when she was receiving an award, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And she said that, people know her. God said to her that people know you by what you do. God said to her that people know you by what you do, but I know you by your relationship with me. That was so profound. Because a lot of us are striving to be known for doing this, for doing that, but God knows us by our relationship with Him. So I want to be remembered as one who impacted the world, and my life drew men to the Father. My life drew men to the Father. That's the legacy I want to live. That's a legacy I want to leave on earth here. And let lives be blessed by my life. All right, thank you. Hope that answers question 6.